Alright guys, this is part 3 of my series. Today we're going to start looking at some bikes. We're going to look at the differences in the different bikes and the different styles of bikes, and that's why I've got the computer screen up here. So this is a company right now on the screen. It's electric. Very good company, guys, for relatively inexpensive bikes. The customer service is excellent. I presently own 4 of them with a 5th one on the way. I do have some other bikes from other manufacturers. There's plenty of great manufacturers out there. But this company here, I have no problem saying buy one of these bikes. Again, there's plenty of bikes out there, and you can shoot me an email and ask me about bikes that you're looking at, or you can leave it in the comments. I got no problem answering them. If I don't know the bike that well, I'll look into it. I can pretty much tell how a bike is looking at them online. I know what the specs should be, so on and so forth. So if you got questions, definitely ask. Email is in the, I'll post it on the screen so it's easier. So this is electric. These are all 20-inch bikes that are on the screen right now. Folding bikes. That's why I brought these things up. This is what I started out with. We started out with one of these bikes here. I now have another one like this. I have another style. It's a cargo bike. And I have another style that's a mid-drive bike, and I'll show you each one. But these are all hub motor bikes here, different styles, different colors. And we'll just go into this one here and we'll look at it. I hope you will. Alright, so for instance, this bike right now, and they're always on sale, guys. So if they're not on sale, don't buy it. It'll be on sale next week. This bike, for $1,000, this does not have the extended range battery in it. You can buy the longer range battery for another $180. Again, you can't have enough battery as far as I'm concerned, but if you're only riding around the block and that's all you intend on doing it, just get the standard range battery. So they're saying 45 miles. I can tell you right now, depending on where you are, I'm in New Hampshire, just for references, and my wife has the extended range battery. She has this bike here. She has it in black. Extended range battery on that, and we get it like 22 miles out of that thing. That's about it. But we've got a lot of ups and downs. We also, got a lot of stopping and that we do and stuff, and every time you take off you're using a lot more electricity than as you're driving down the road. So it also depends on what paths you run it in, and I'm going to say both me and my wife probably run it a little above medium, so which there's 5 degrees of pass on these bikes. So I run mine in 3, so that's why I'm saying it's 4 and 5. 5 you're really getting going on it. So if you want to get home, you throw it in 5. Let's put it that way. But you're going to eat battery a lot faster when you're in 5. When they do these specifications on these batteries, I'm pretty sure they have them on here. Battery power. Let's click into it to see what they say. Kind of getting out of here we are with the batteries. I'll quickly go over this because I wanted to go step by step here. So they're saying pass 1 you're going to get 45 miles with the standard battery, 65 with the long range. We're going to jump right to 5 here. We're looking at 17 miles of the standard battery. We're looking at 25 miles in pedal 5. Again, I said I live in New Hampshire, so they're saying long range battery 35 miles in 3. We're not getting 35 miles in it because we get hills and stuff. So you want to judge. Again, buy more battery than what you need. You'll be happy. Let's get back to the bikes though, because I jumped out of sequence here a little bit, and I wanted to explain the bikes before we started going over batteries. So don't mind me jumping around here. So this one is a step-over bike, a 20-inch bike, so the step-over is not that big of a thing. I guess the only reason why you would choose this if you like the style better. I have one of these and I have one of these. So, do I like one above the other one? No, not really. They're both about the same to me. I suggest step-overs for the most part. They're really easy to deal with. Like I said, I just ordered one bike that is not a step over, and there's a reason for it. So this one here, the reason why the prices went up, these are the long range batteries. So you saw we can buy the other one for $1,000. So for another $179, you get the longer range battery. Like I said, you can't have enough battery as far as I'm concerned. So I recommend going with a bigger battery than smaller battery. So, again, these are the 3 different styles of the 20-inch bikes. They have these ones are folding bikes. Let's see if they have a picture of it folded. I guess I actually have to go into one of these bikes. Okay, here's a picture of it folded. And that's what you can do with these things, guys. So the battery's in the tube on this, so you don't see the battery. Some of them have external batteries on them, but these are in the tube. You can fold this thing. A lot of people put them in totes, like I said. These pedals fold in. Also, the handlebars fold down. And that's why they have that kind of giraffe-looking, necks on them. So you can buy baskets for these things, again, depending on what you want to do. You might want the basket set. This basket set is $149 if you were to buy it. So, again, all in what you want. If you put the baskets on it, you're complicating yourself for taking them and folding them and putting them in the car. So just consider that also. So if you plan on throwing these in your car, you're going to be taking the baskets off. You can fold them with the baskets on, but they're not going to be as small. Just, be aware of that. They come with a comfort. Well, you can add a comfort package to this. I don't recommend it. You get your bike, try it out. You don't like the seat, order a seat on Amazon. So this thing here is $99. $100 you're going to get a seat, and you're going to get a suspension seat post. The suspension seat post on this is like a pogo stick. It just goes up and down and up and down. I hate them. They make better ones that rock, and they sell for about $80 on Amazon. And the seats will sell for up to $45, but most of the time that $45 seat you can buy on sale for $35. So you would be into this for a little bit more money to go on Amazon and buy a good suspension seat post and a good seat, but it's well worth it, trust me. And if you want to get into seats and want to know the best one I think is out there, I got a video on it, so check that out. So what else should we talk about? Again, you got your lights. These do come with it. You can get this package here for free. It's going to give you a lock. It's going to give you the upgraded light, and it's going to give you a cell phone holder, which, And again, these handlebars fold. They also have the adjustability of going up and down somewhat. A lot of people find this reach, a long reach on these bikes. It can be, and if you're older and like to sit up straight, it could be an issue. Let's put it that way. So again, something to take into consideration, but a lot of people don't mind riding them. You see this guy positioned on his bikes. He's leaning forward a little bit, not terribly so, but he also looks like a taller gentleman also. My wife, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say 5'7", 5'5", something like that. And we've actually rolled the handlebars back a little bit, so it's a little more comfortable for her. But it's kind of difficult to do with these fold-down stems. Just be aware of that. On a non-folding bike, if you don't need a folding bike, then you don't have to get one. I just showed you these because it's a company I would recommend. I have some other bikes here that we can pull up. But let's jump over to one of their other style bikes. I will show you a bike that I have on order. This is their brand new X-Peak that they just released, and I ordered one of these. So this is a 26-inch bike. It's not a folding bike. This is these 26-inch bikes are pretty big, guys, just so you know. This does come in a step over. I did order this bike in a step through. They're calling this bike a high step, so X-Peak high step bike. There's a lot of bikes out there. I got this one like this because I wanted this tube on the top for extra reinforcement, but you don't have to worry about that. These particular bikes are actually rated for, they have a mountain bike rating on them, so I don't even think the step through would be a problem. Go show you the step through bike. So this is the step through, And again, it's a much easier bike to mount. You don't have to try to swing your leg over, because that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm probably going to stand on the pedal on the other side. If I find it difficult to do, I'll step on the pedal on the other side. I'll hit the throttle so the bike takes off, and then I'll swing my leg over. That'll give me the extra room off the ground to get over this thing. I'm an older gentleman too, so I don't know if I can swing my leg over that easily. I am going to have rack on the back, and I'm going to have at least a backpack on that thing, so it's going to be, up here to try to swing my leg over is what I'm saying. But again, this is a 26-inch style. This is a step through. The other bike we looked at was a non-step through, so there's a difference in those. These cranks, while we're here, the bigger these are, the harder they are to pedal, but the more speed you get out of them. So if you're not interested in going fast, anything, I think this is a 53 tooth on this bike. I'm pretty sure it is. So if you're not going to go fast or whatever, and you're not worried about ghost pedaling's when you're hitting 25 miles an hour and your feet are going around and you're not really doing anything because you just don't have enough gears to keep up with it. But if you're not planning on doing 25 miles an hour or whatever, you don't have to worry about it. If you are, you got to go for a bigger chainring. So a lot of these bikes come with 44s on them. So you're going to ghost pedal with that, but it's going to be easier to pedal. So if you're looking for easier to pedal, get a smaller chainring. You're looking for more speed, you're going to want to go with a bigger chainring. There's also gears in the back without getting into the whole thing. So you've got your low gears down to your high gears, your smallest gear is your highest gear, and your bigger gears on the back here are your low gears. So it's the opposite of the front crank. So, again, back to the speed thing, which is a whole different thing. So we're going to jump over to a different manufacturer here so I can show you some other styles. So unfortunately, when I click on this, it shows me another picture. But so we go with this style. This is what I said, the moped style. And if you look at the seat on that, it's a fixed seat. You can't adjust the height. So you don't have a lot of room. Notice this guy, these are midway pedaled, and his knees are straight out. So that's something you got to consider. And that's why I said if you're going to plan on pedaling this thing, this is probably not the ideal bike for you. If you're planning on just getting on the thing and hitting the throttle, then this bike could be perfect for you. And like I said, the seats, I haven't had an opportunity to try any of them yet, but I have heard from many people that the seats are uncomfortable on a somewhat longer ride, let's put it that way. So this is another version of a step-through folding bike over here. And again, these prices are getting up there a little bit on these bikes. This is what they consider a cargo bike. Now, if you're brand new to biking, you might not consider a cargo bike. I do have a cargo bike. I don't have cargo on it. I bought it because I wanted the extra space on it, and it also came with dual batteries, which this one does come with dual batteries also. But if you're a younger person and you're looking for something to take your kid to school in the morning or something, and you might want to consider a cargo bike. They will handle just about the same, but of course you put something on the back here, you're going to be a little bit more top heavy. You've got to be aware of that. So these, again, cargo bikes, what do you want it for? So, and I definitely wanted to show you that. They have different style bikes here. Trikes, if you're an older person and you're just going to be pedaling around the neighborhood, you might want to consider a trike. No, there's a lot of guys out there, I say pedaling around the neighborhood, you can go 10 miles on these without a problem. But you've got to have the roads that can support these bikes, meaning there's enough room for you in a car going by, because you're talking about a bike that's, approximately 3 feet wide. So if your roads can barely put a bicycle and a car on them, and then again, I live in the state of New Hampshire. I can't drive on sidewalks, so that's a whole different story. But if you're going to use sidewalks and there's telephone poles in the way and stuff, it might not be an option for you. So, but if you're in a closed neighborhood and you're just going to pedal around and talk to your friends, it might be an ideal thing for you. My sister just picked one of these things up, and she's loving it. It gets her out there. She's also 82 years old, so good for her. There's different style trikes, and I want to show you some commuter bikes too. Commuter bikes are going to have thinner tires on them, and they're going to be a little bit lighter bike. I don't see anything here about commuter bike. All right, let me jump to another company, Aventon. These are commuter bikes right here that are pulled up, and you see these things look a lot more like the traditional bikes you see on the road. They tend to have a little bit smaller batteries in them sometimes, keep the weight down on them, because they don't need to have that bigger battery in them, because they don't have as much friction, because they're running 2-inch tires or less for the most part, and the frames are lighter on them. They don't have to have those beefy frames because they're worried that you're going to take it through the woods and hit rocks and roots and everything else. So that's an option too if you wanted to go with one of these. And this particular bike they're showing doesn't really have a step through. They have that, little bit of a step through. They're calling it a step through, but the bar's there. And that's because they're thinning that tube down in the front there, and it's not as strong. So they have to put that second bar in. And that's actually why I'm getting a bike with the second bar. So again, so we've looked at cargo bikes, we've looked at commuter bikes. I just wanted you to be aware of the bikes, thinking about the different situations you're going to need them for. So if you're going to be on street only, and you may want a cargo bike. You may want a commuter bike. If you're going to go down and get your groceries or something, you may want a trike. You're going to go down and get your groceries, you may want a cargo bike. So, all these bikes have racks on them. You can buy pannier bags for them, so you can put a lot of groceries in them anyways if you were going down there, but you certainly can get a lot more on the other style bikes. So, I just wanted you to be aware of that. We talked about the weight of the bikes. Let's just punch in on one of these bikes and see what the weight is on this one. So, this is a $1,700 bike. It can hold 300 pounds, 28 miles an hour. Okay, this UL certification here, guys, a lot of companies are stating, a lot of companies state it that they're not UL certified, just so you know. They get the batteries that are UL certified and they think the bike's UL certified. That's not always the case. They're going to have a sticker on them with a hologram that's going to say UL approved. It's going to be somewhere on the bike. If you don't see it on the bike that you can see visibly, it's not UL approved. And if somebody wants to argue with me, that's fine. I'll give you the UL information that I have from UL Direct. So this bike has a torque sensor. Torque sensor is a bike that, again, it's going to sense amount of pressure you're putting in this thing, so it's going to act a little bit more bikey than a canvas sensor. And a canvas sensor just means the pedals are going around, so the motor's turning on. With a torque sensor, and they tend to be in the higher end bikes, we're looking at a $1,700 bike here, but they are coming out on more and more bikes because people want the torque sensors. They're a much better feel, but you've got to actually pedal. And I say that because you can take a bike with a canvas sensor and just rotate your feet, and it's like turning the throttle. You're not really putting any pressure into it at all. And when I go out on my bike, I want to get a little bit of exercise. So what I do is I put it in the pass that I want it in, and I pedal above that pass. So if I set a pass on that bike that I can basically turn the pedals, and it goes to put a number on it, it goes to 15 miles an hour. I pedal at 17 miles an hour on that bike. I pedal over it so that I'm getting some exercise out of it. So that's what I do. That's not what everybody wants to do. So that's, just things to consider. Hub motor on this. It's got a throttle on this bike. Not that we're reviewing this. I just want to see what it weighs. And the weight of the bike is 62 pounds. It's not saying with or without the battery. I am going to guess that's probably without the battery, which would put it more at 72 pounds, which is probably about right for this bike. So just be aware of the weight again, guys, When you're doing these, let's just show you this. So all of these bike manufacturers have these charts. All right, so they're showing This is not a very good thing here. But they're saying the standover height, and they're giving it us in millimeters. Thanks a lot, guys. Because, you know, I'm sure you guys don't want to convert millimeters into inches because I'm talking to people in the U.S. here. So let's try. Let's go back to electric. Size guide. Okay, they are in inches here. Okay, this is what I'm looking for right here. The standover height. This is 19 inches. This is obviously the step through. So they're saying it's 19 inches to step over this thing. So just so that we can go to show you the difference on a step over bike. And the standover height on this one is 30.5 inches. So 30.5 inches is that bar on that bike, is where they're talking about standing here on this bike. So, you know, again, that's your inseam, guys. Make sure that you can comfortably get on that thing. And again, you know, don't go by your pant size. The best thing to do, believe it or not, is you stand against the wall. You put a book between your legs. You have somebody measure where the book is. It'll give you a reference. You know, you should be able to stand flat-footed. I don't always stand flat-footed on my bikes. Some of them are tippy-toed, and that's because I like full leg extension on my, you know, when I'm pedaling. So full leg extension means that you have a slight bend to your knee when the pedal's all the way down. Very slight, almost not there. So, you know, all things to be aware of, guys. So I think that's about enough to wrap up the bikes. So we've looked at the different bike styles. Again, most of these bikes come with aggressive tires on them. The commuter bikes are going to come with less aggressive tires on them, so they're going to be a quieter tire. I do know that, like, this company, so you can go into, I know this company real well, so I'll show you the X Premium here. This is a bike I also own. It's a step over folding bike. Also comes with dual batteries, but this one here it doesn't have a hub motor in it. This one has mid-drive in it, so that's what the difference is on that. So I forgot to show you the mid-drives on these. So yeah, this like I said here, this turns. So the motor's in this piece down here. So when you turn this chain's driving back here and driving this. So there's no motor in this to turn it. Just be aware of that. Again, like I said, I don't highly recommend mid-drives for people that are new to bikes. It was actually not that bike I wanted to look for. It was this bike here, which is their cargo bike. And I also have this bike. So I'm going to click on this and see if they show the tire on this. Because this tire is a street tire that's on this bike. But that's there's no knobbies on this tire, so it's a more street-wise tire, and that's about all I wanted to show you. So again, the throttle we went over. Obviously, you know, these have twist throttles on these ones, options with the fenders, so on and so forth. And again, storing these bikes. If you got a folding bike, you can store it a lot easier than a non-folding bike. This bike is not a folding bike, even though it looks like the other ones. They don't fold. And they don't fold for a reason. I mean, these things have a capacity of 400 pounds. You can put 2 kids on them. You don't want this thing breaking in half because, you know, you got a lot of weight on them. So that's why they do that. They don't want them folding. So I guess that's about it on this segment. And the next segment we're going to go over on these bikes is where should I buy my bike from? So stay tuned for that one, and you can see what my thoughts are on whether you should buy them online or buy them at your local bike shop. Thanks.